What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in. So basically in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys how I could afford a 2022 BMW M4 Competition X-Drive. I purchased this car brand new. I ordered it, spec'd it to how I wanted it and all, and that was back in like 2021, right? Like late 2021. I didn't receive it, didn't take delivery until like August of 2022. So I had to wait like 9 months, 8 months or so to get the car in. But yeah, pretty long waiting period, to be honest, but it is definitely worth it. If you're gonna spend this type of money, definitely make sure that the car that you're getting is one that you like 100%, right? That it's not missing an option or a package. And at the time, dealerships were asking for the X-Drive models like well over MSRP, so they were doing markups, but I got this locked in at MSRP. Now, if you're new to the channel, the car is not stock, right? It is one thing to be able to afford a car like this and finance it, like anybody can do that really, but it's another thing to be able to keep up with the payments and drop tens of thousands of dollars in mods in a car like this. That's a whole different thing, Anybody can finance a car, but not everybody can drop. You can't finance mods. So when I ordered the car in like November of 2021, I was 20 years old, and then when I took delivery of the car in August, I was 21, right? So I guess I got the car when I was 21. Let's just say that, But the reason why I'm making this video is because a lot of people do ask me, hey, you're young, how do you afford a car like this that's near, or above $100,000 at your age, right? And just to break it to the haters or the guys that are older that maybe aren't in my position right now, right? It's not daddy's money, Unfortunately, I didn't grow up fortunate enough to have parents that, my parents are immigrants. I didn't have parents that, are rich, and just because you're an immigrant doesn't mean you can't be wealthy and be successful in life, at least financially, right? But my parents literally came from the mud, man, from Mexico. From what they've told me, when they lived over there, when they were younger, there were days where they didn't always have something to eat, they were poor, right? It is a third world country, of course, but long story short, I came over here. I was born here, of course. They made something of themselves, but nowhere close to being able to afford something like this, right? We've had our struggles, everybody has a struggle. I think struggle is beautiful because the correct person with the correct mindset will turn struggles into great things, worth ethic will motivate people to do better for themselves because they don't want to continue to live like that, right? But yeah, no daddy's money. I am a high school graduate. I do have a diploma, no dropout or anything like that, not that that's a bad thing at all, but I just wanted to put that out there. I did go to college, I went for a year and then realized, what, this isn't for me. I got into something else, and this was all during COVID, when COVID started. So, I was going to college to play a sport. It was soccer, and then I didn't want to continue going, right? But then, because of COVID, there was no soccer season. At least the upcoming season, I was only able to participate in one season, right? But yeah, no soccer season after that. Still kept going to school, and then during COVID, when it started, this is where everything changed, right? Got into trading, right? Obviously, I had a 9-to-5 and all that too. But yeah, I got into trading, into the stock market and all, and even before that, I knew what cryptocurrency was, right? I knew what the stock market was. I had a good idea of how it worked and all that stuff, just the basics, at least with economics and stuff, what the stock market is, because people are clueless. They don't even know what it is, like they're absolutely clueless. But I had an understanding, a very basic understanding of what it was. Basically, the market crashed. I had people that I was watching on YouTube that I ran into, a lot of YouTubers saying it's an opportunity. I'm young, so I'm trying to get into, I'm trying to learn new things, right? that I can maybe get some income from, you know, while I'm going to college, right? I got into it, you know, still going to college, and I just kept at it, right? Started with shares, you know, buying shares of companies. And at the time, they were in the process of creating a COVID vaccine, right? Pfizer, Moderna, you know, Johnson & Johnson, and so, but yeah, you know, I got into that because the YouTuber that I was watching was actually, you know, talking about that and all. So I thought, I mean, there has to be, you know, these vaccines are going to have to be paid for one way or another, and these companies are going to, you know, their share price is going to go up, and it was already starting to go up, right? But I made a lot of good money from what I had, at least at the time, trading, you know, like Moderna and Pfizer and all. You know, later on, a whole narrative and sector of renewable energy started blowing up, made some money there, and then started with the whole, and that's in like towards like late 2020, that's when crypto absolutely blew up, right? Because the supply of Bitcoin that is rewarded to miners, right, was cut in half, and that happened in like May, or I forget, it was either May or April of 2020, right? This halving cycle that just happened this year happened in April, like mid-April, right? Bitcoin halved again, and it's gonna blow up again. It's already been blowing up, you know, but it's not over. But back to the previous cycle that started in 2020, right? I already knew what crypto was, right? Because I mean, it was super small back in the day, and I was like young. But I knew what crypto was. I've heard of Bitcoin and all that, but in my head, I was like, oh, it's a Ponzi scheme, you know? I didn't know, you know, what I know today, at least. But got into that, and then that's when Dogecoin blew up, you know, got into that as well. Made some money from a lot of those things and a lot of other things. And at this point, I'm getting closer to where I started doing options, and, you know, that's a little bit on the riskier side compared to shares, right? Because they expire, their contracts, they expire, and it's a whole different ball game, right? I don't want to get too in depth because most people will probably get lost and won't understand. It got into options, right? Made a lot of money from that. That is what kind of changed everything, and crypto, of course. Now, right now, I would say 95% of my focus right now is all crypto. In my opinion, nothing beats crypto. Nothing. Especially day trading, all that stuff. You know, options are great, but nothing beats crypto, and specifically shit coins, right? Meme coins. You know, meme coins on Solana, ETH, Base, right? These are all networks. And a lot of them, to be honest, they're all scams, you know, but you can make quick flips with them. But I don't really focus on those as much as I focus on the longer term, you know, investments, you know, things that go 100x, 500x, 1000x, depending on at what price you purchased the meme coin, right? But obviously, if you're gonna want to get an 1000x or an 100x, you're gonna have to take some risks, because a lot of these meme coins, if you want to get in early to where you can make that kind of profit, they're not going to be listed on any centralized exchanges, right? And if you don't know what an exchange is basically, it's like where you go to an exchange if you want to exchange, like, for example, like dollars to pesos or something. If you go, you know, there's exchanges, right? But this is for cryptocurrency, you know? And there's exchanges like Coinbase, which a lot of people are familiar with, Crypto.com, Uphold, Gemini, Kraken, and Robinhood is an exchange. You know, they sell crypto too. You can buy and sell crypto on Robinhood. You know, Webull, a lot of you know, stock ETF brokerages, right? These exchanges, a lot of these cryptos, if you want to make like 100x, a lot of these cryptos are not going to be on those exchanges. You know, so it is going to be risky because these are tier 1 exchanges. There's tier 2s, tier 3s, tier 4s, you know, and a lot of those exchanges, like here in the US, a lot of people don't have access to them. You have to use a VPN, you know, to say that you're in another country or whatever, to have access to tier 3 exchange, let's say like Mexi, you know, that's a popular one. Yeah, that you can't just download it on your phone and start using Mexi. It's not regulated here in the US, right? You can't use it if you're a resident of the US, but you can use it in like if you live in England, you can use it there. In the UK, obviously they're going to be more sketchy, right? Because they're not on like heavily regulated exchanges like Coinbase and all. But if they end up getting listed on Coinbase, Robinhood, or these tier 1 exchanges, right, that's when they blow up, because there's people that don't know a thing, right? And it comes with any type of investing, right? They don't know a thing, they buy the top, people who bought early, it's like a Ponzi scheme, right? But obviously they're not going to go to zero, most of them, you know, not even Dogecoin or Shiba Inu has gone to zero. But yeah, right now most of the investing and trading that I do is cryptocurrency. It's not for everybody. Aside from that, I do work a 9 to 5. I work in sales. I cannot say what company, you know, I work for, just for privacy, or for my privacy. My job doesn't allow me to say online, on social media and all that. Yeah, I do work in sales. I believe that sales is a great way and a great industry to start at if you are young. Sales, and another one that I believe is a great industry to start at, other than sales, is definitely going to be anything that is, you know, real estate related. You know, you can get your real estate license. It is difficult. You got to grind, just like in sales. And another thing, there's a lot of trades that really pay well, like plumbing, electrical, that young people can start in, you know, as an apprentice or something. Sales, most of the times you can get put on and just make your way up through you know, not even within the same company or the same business, but you know, once you have sales experience, there will always be jobs. There will always be work for salesmen, because we need people to sell, you know, a certain product or a service or whatever, right? But that is what I do. I also do this, YouTube, but honestly, I don't do this for the money, you know. If I did this for the money, I would be kind of more on a whole nother level with it, you know, which I do want to get to at one point. But I kind of like to get my feet wet on a lot of different stuff, you know. An important thing that I want to say for you guys that are younger than me, or maybe my age or older, any of you guys that are, you know, watching this because you kind of want to get inspired or motivated to do something, you know, maybe the same thing as me, cryptocurrency, or get into sales or whatever, you know, a better job than you have now, to, you know, get into a car like this or similar. One thing I can tell you guys, and I will tell you guys, is that always go and try to learn new things. You know, the internet is free, right? At least for most people, it's free, and there's a lot of things on the internet that you don't even need to pay for, that you can like get your feet wet and start learning new things, like in trading or cryptocurrency and all that. Like at this time and age, there's no need to pay to learn any of this stuff. You know, you can do that and kind of get better material that you'll learn quicker, right? But nothing teaches you like experience. Going out and doing it yourself, you know, going and actively trying to apply for a job in sales or whatever, right? Just go and get it, right? Don't wait, because, you know, time is money. Although you can't trade money for time, but you can trade time for money. But I think time is more valuable, right? You want to be able, that's something you can't get back. You know, you want to be able to make as much money as you can in a shorter period of time. Just keep closing that gap. And you don't necessarily need to work for anybody else. Like I work for somebody, right? But you don't necessarily need to work for anybody. You can start your own business. I've seen a lot. I personally know a lot of young guys, you know, buddies of mine, that have their own business, their LLC or whatever, right? And you know, it could be in a trade, it could be in sales too. You know, I have buddies that, you know, they're salesmen, right? They're closers or whatever, and you know, they have their own LLC for that stuff. And you know, those are the types of people that I want to be around. You want to be around people who have ambition. That's another big thing. You are who you hang out with. If I was out here hanging out with people who have no ambition, I'm gonna end up just like them. And that's, you know, that's a very common thing that people say, but it is true. You know, and I will always say that. Why do I say that? Because me hanging around the right people in life has changed my life completely. I don't think I'd be where I'm at without certain individuals that are my buddies and all, you know, that push me to do better, or maybe we're into the same thing, you know. I met a lot of people, and I have a lot of buddies, you know, that I met through trading, literally trading alone, cryptocurrency, you know, and now they're in my circle. And I like to keep my circle tight, because it just takes that one person keep you off your game, and then from there, you know, that's a setback. And you'll always have setbacks. You want to have as least setbacks as possible, you know. And everybody will have setbacks, like I said, but it's about how you bounce back. Like they say, your network is your net worth. I've always said I don't exactly believe that, because I've seen people who are absolutely, like, they're lone wolves, right? They have no friends, you know, or anything like that. Or maybe they have friends, but their friends are broke, or maybe not on the same level. But these people, like, make something of themselves, you know. Now this car is not stock. I have well over, like, maybe like well over, I lost count already, but I have well over like $20,000 in mods in this car. So that's a different kind of bag. Anybody can finance a car, but not everybody has the money to mod it. It's cold hard money bag right there, you know. Ultimately, if anybody ever asks me, like, hey, how do people become rich quick, right? What I will always say is debt. Debt is how you make money, because money makes money, and you want your money to make money. That's how you become financially free. Now, the reason why I push myself to a level that I'm at now is not necessarily for this stuff, cars, nice things, materialistic things. It's not for that. Ultimately, the most important thing for me is to make sure that my family will always be set, and if there ever is a setback, it's not a big deal, right? At the end of the day, I want to take care of my family, and that's the biggest motivation that I have, right? The biggest motivation is my family. I want to make sure I can retire my mom. She don't have to work till she's 60 years old, or some people are north of 60 years old, you know, and they're still working. I want to make sure that my parents don't have to go through that, because yeah, my parents weren't able to give me everything that other people that were more fortunate were able to have, right? But they gave me important things like values and things like that are much more valuable, you know. And I know if it was switched, they would want to take care of me as well. The way you'll be able to secure a future for yourself in investing is always have assets, you know, and be diverse. I am a degen, you know, like right now I am pretty deep in crypto, but at the end of the day, you know, my winnings, my profits, my realized profits, they're gonna end up being diversified into different assets like stocks, ETFs, you know, real estate, and you know, precious metals. I heard are good too. I'm not really too big of a fan of precious metals. I think it's useless. I think I mean, it's not useless, right? But as a store of value, I believe nothing beats Bitcoin, right? And real estate. Real estate is an amazing store of value. Everybody will always need a roof over their head, but a simple investment is Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin is a great store of value. It has outperformed the S&P 500 in the past 10 years. It has outperformed nearly everything, right? And obviously nobody knew that wasn't gonna happen. But now even corporations are using it as a store of value. Like look at MicroStrategy, right? But all in all, it's good to have money not in cash, right? Because cash can always be printed. The government can always print more money, and your cash just becomes even more worthless than it already is, right? And that's what you call inflation, right? Well, it's part of inflation, let's say. Always have your money in assets. And a car is not an asset, but you can make it an asset, right? You can make a car an asset if it brings you money. I know I see a lot of TikTokers and stuff that buy cars, you know, YouTubers, influencers that buy cars, right? And, you know, they create a great platform, and, you know, they're influencers, and they make money from it, you know, enough to where they don't ever have to work a 9 to 5. You know, they're just influencers 20, you know, like full time. That I think is a great asset if you could turn a car, you know, cars can be assets too. People like to say that cars are not a great asset, that it's a depreciating asset, and they are right, but people can make money from them, you know, and create a platform, and at the end of the day keep scaling. Like, we've seen a lot of people do that. Cars can also be motivate you to do better for yourself, to be able to level up. Like that's what I want to do. I don't want to just be at this level. I want to be at the level where I can go and buy a Lamborghini Huracan STO cash, but not for the car specifically. That's just a plus. It's fun, you know, it's a toy, but for the reason, because I know if I have it, I'll know, because if I have it like that, right, I'll know I can take care of my family. If I can buy a Lamborghini Huracan STO cash, or any other, you know, supercar, expensive vehicle, or maybe if you're not into cars, you're into, you know, jewelry or shoes or whatever. If I can go buy $20,000 worth of shoes cash, just one trip, you'll know that if you have it like that, you can take care of your family, no questions asked. And at the end of the day, that's what should really matter. It's not really how much money you make, it's the sense too that you have with money, right? If you go and spend your money, you know, say like I mean, everybody has their vice, right? But like, say you're out here and you're buying vapes or cigarettes, you know, or alcohol, you know, anything like that, right? It can be really anything, right? It doesn't have to be necessarily drugs. But if you're out here buying a lot of useless stuff like that, when maybe you're spending like a month $700, $800, like that's enough money to get you ahead in investing just by quitting something. And you'll also be healthier, and health equals time, in my opinion. The sense that you have with your money and what you do with it is very important, just as important as how you make it, in my opinion. Another thing is too, you know, depending on where you live, obviously we don't all choose where we're born and where we live, but I mean, if you're out here living in New York City and paying like over $2,000, $3,000 for like a place, when you could go live somewhere else and that literally is your mortgage, buys you a super nice house, that's where people live better, in my opinion. Move out, go to a better state that is not as expensive, a better city. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a state, but somewhere where it's less expensive, and you know, there's still a lot of job opportunity that pays well. And that alone right there can maybe even, you know, get you into a car like this, with the difference of expenses of, you know, living costs and all that, right? Take that with a grain of salt, of course. I mean, maybe that doesn't apply to everybody, right? Like I said, it could help. My goal for this coming next year is to start a house build. I want to build my own house, you know, how I want it and all. Obviously we're gonna have a big garage, nice garage with a lift. That is my goal. I have set goals. I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. Set goals for yourself. But I think I'm gonna wrap the video there, guys. I do hope that this helped you guys in any sort of way, or maybe inspired you guys. If you guys do have any questions, want me to make something similar to kind of this, or something investing related kind of video, please let me know in the comments. I do appreciate that. I love it when you guys comment, whether it be showing love or you guys have any questions. You know, I do love replying to you guys and interacting with the comment section. But I do appreciate you guys watching this video. Like I said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.